Environmental technology. This should be the very first lecture of our module, Environmental Technology and Occupational Safety. In this lecture, you will learn about basic definitions of some important terms, and at the end of this lecture, you will get a better idea about what you are going to learn, and also what is the difference between the environmental studies and also about the ecology. Let's see what is environmental technology. What is environmental technology? In a school, you learn social studies, then you learn science and mathematics. During the advanced level time, you learn chemistry and physics. In chemistry module, you learn many areas. You learn organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, and there was a section called man and the nature or Minisa Saha Parisaraya. And in physics, you learn about many things. In physics subject, you learn about heat transfer, sound and waves transfer. You learn about dimensions, mana. Then you learn about electricity and electronic. Then you learn about viscosity. You learn many things. It is about science. Then what is environmental technology? So why do we bother about the environment? Because we live in the environment. Our environment made from two sections. We have green environment and the brown environment. Remember, we live in brown environment. So green environment is the where the trees and the nature is present. So we live in brown environment where man has entered into the green environment. Then the green environment was disturbed by the man to build the brown environment. So when you refer some books related to the ecology, you will find those terms: green environment and brown environment. Okay, so what is environmental technology? It is the application of the environmental science to conserve the natural environment and resources and to curb the negative impacts of the human involvement. So environmental technology is the application of environmental science. Now you should know what is environmental science. So anyway, now in advanced level and even in your other modules, you learn many areas. You learn about heat transfer, then you learn about some unit operations. There are some unit operations like sedimentation, filtration. What else? Then drying. What are the other unit operation that you know? Sedimentation, filtration, drying, distillation, adsorption, absorption. Okay? So those are the unit operations. Then in chemistry subject, you learn inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry. Then in physics module, you learn about heat transfer, the how sounds and waves transfer, electricity, electronics. So those are the science. Those are the sciences: biology, zoology. Okay, so environmental technology is the application of environmental science to conserve the natural environment, to protect the natural environment and resources. Natural environment and resources. So resources. So when we talk about environment, our environment made of, green and consist of green environment and the brown environment. And the other things, our living planet consists of 3 cycles. Actually, there are 4 cycles. What are the 3 cycles available in our planet? In our planet Earth, there are 3 cycles. So what are them? Sorry, they are not, we cannot say 3 cycles. There are 3 spheres: atmosphere, lithosphere, and hydrosphere. In our living planet, in our Earth planet, there are 3 spheres, 3 sections: lithosphere, atmosphere, and the hydrosphere. So we live in the biosphere where all these three sections are available. Water is available, air is available, and also land is available. Without land, we cannot survive. So we live in the biosphere. So, environmental technology is the application of the environmental science to protect the natural environment. That means natural environment means that those biosphere and the resources. So, in our environment, there are many resources. There are land, there are atmosphere, and also the water resources. And to curb mean to cure or control the negative impacts of the human involvement, because due to the human involvement the environment get polluted. So as a example, due to the domestic activities, what happened due to the cooking of our food, indoor inside our houses, indoor air is polluted. And also what happened that noxious gases are emitted. Hmm? Not only due to the domestic activities and also due to the industrial activities, vast amount of environment is polluted. Hmm? Water is polluted, atmosphere is polluted, water is polluted due to the emission of not sorry due to the discharge of wastewater without uh, without treating properly. So organic matters are entered into the rivers, lakes, and water reservoirs. Because of that, water get polluted. Because of that, what happened? The fish and the aquatic lives in that water resources get affected. Okay, so environmental technology is the application of environmental science to cure these negative impacts of the human involvement. Then there's another one, sustainable development. So what is sustainability? So in Sinhala we can say Tirasara Sangvardhana, sustainability. So in environmental technology subject in module, you learn about sustainable development also. So, but in this module, I am not going to talk about sustainable development. For the chemical students, you will learn another module in semester 4 related to the environmental engineering. So, in that module, you will learn about sustainable development. So, actually, what is the meaning of sustainable development? So, how consider you are going to we are in our country we have a sustainable development project. So what are the main features of a sustainable development project? Tirasara Sangvardhana ව්‍යාපෘතියක තිබිය යුතු මූලික අරමුණු. What are the main features of a sustainable development project? Okay. The environmental pollution should be minimized. Environmental is polluted, but the pollution should be minimized. And the usage of resources, natural resources, should be minimized. Usage of natural resources should be minimized. That means we have to use the natural resources. We have to use some minerals and water and some soil, some raw material, some natural raw material for the project. We have to use, but we cannot waste them. We have to use the optimum process. So if it is optimum, if there is a optimum usage, then we can say there is a sustainability. And there should be another feature. In a sustainable project, the resources that we have should be available to the future generation also. In a sustainable development project, the resources that we are going to use should be available for the future generation also. As an example, I can say a hydropower project, Jalaviduliya. So it is some sort of sustainable development project. It is a sustainable project because the water can be available for the future generation. But if we are going to use coal or fossil fuel, it is not a sustainable fuel. because that the amount of coal or the amount of fossil fuel available in the world will be uh, over one day. They will be diminished one day. Another thing, what are the other sustainable resources? The wind power, Sulambalaya. So wind power is a sustainable fuel, okay, because it is available for the future generation also. So this is about sustainable, term sustainable. Now let's move to the second slide. Before that, so here that means environmental technology is the application of science. Then, what is environmental science? I told you that you already have learned about science. Okay? Environmental science is an interdisciplinary academic field that integrates physical and biological sciences, including physics, chemistry, biology, soil sciences, geology, and geography, to the study of the environment and the solution of environmental problems. Okay. So environmental science is an interdisciplinary academic field that integrates physical and biological sciences to the study of the environment and the solution of environmental problems. That means in this module, you learn only about the environmental technology. You learn only about the environmental technology, but you have to learn some part of science, otherwise you cannot follow the environmental technology. Okay? Otherwise you cannot follow the environmental technology. So in our module you will learn some percentage of environmental science, and also from other modules and from your school advanced level knowledge and low level knowledge, you also get a knowledge, you have a knowledge of environmental science, because you know physics, chemistry, biology, soil science, geology, like that. So without that knowledge, you cannot you cannot follow the environmental technology. Then in second point, you can see environmental science provides an integrated quantitative and interdisciplinary approach to the study of environmental system. So if you have a knowledge on environmental science, then you can easily apply the environmental science to mitigate the problem caused by humans, or mitigate or control the environmental problem. So what are the environmental problems that you know? Now you know there are many environmental problems: water pollution, then soil pollution, solid waste problem, and also there are many many problem related to the air pollution. So under the air pollution, you can say there are many problems: greenhouse effect, ozone layer depletion, then stratospheric the ozone layer depletion, that means stratospheric ozone layer depletion, and tropospheric ozone formation. What is tropospheric ozone? The troposphere is the nearby air layer, is the first air layer in the atmosphere, troposphere. So due to the availability of ozone, what happened? The air get heated. It acts as a greenhouse gas, and due to the formation of ozone in nearby air layer in the atmosphere or in the troposphere, what happened? The photochemical smoke can be formed. Okay? So then the fan gas will be formed. So these are the problems occurred due to the air pollution, greenhouse effect, ozone problem. So ozone problem can be divided into two: tropospheric ozone layer, tropospheric ozone problem, and the stratospheric ozone layer depletion, then formation of photochemical smoke, acid rain. So uh, 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 what we talk now. So technology, environmental technology is the application of science to mitigate the environmental problems. So after we have learned after we know the environmental technology, then we can go towards the environmental engineering. Environmental engineering and the environmental management. So in environmental engineering, mainly we focused of designing of some equipment. We focused of designing of some equipment and how to operate some equipment, design of some equipment to control the air, control the environmental pollution problem. How to control the environmental pollution problem. So first we should know about environmental science, then environmental technology and environmental engineering and the management. So without having management knowledge, we cannot manage the environment. Then what is environmental engineering? Is the application of science and engineering principles to improve the environment, to provide healthy water, air and land for human habitation, for other organisms and to remediate polluted site. So environmental engineering is the application of science and engineering principles to improve the environment. Improve the environment because we have to improve the environment because man has degraded the environment, because man has degraded the environment. Because of that, we have to improve the environment to provide healthy water, air and land, because those three spheres were polluted. The three spheres are being polluted due to the man-made activities: hydrosphere, air, atmosphere and the lithosphere. So we have to improve these areas for human habitation and for other organisms. We cannot think only about the human habitation. There should be animals and also other lives and also trees. And to remediate the polluted sites, there are polluted sites, there are polluted rivers, there are polluted lands. So we should remediate. Remediate mean we have to remove the pollutants. Then we have to take into the we have to remove the pollutants, then we have to take them into the normal state. Environmental engineering involves wastewater management, air pollution control, recycling, waste disposal, that means solid waste management, radiation protection, industrial hygiene, environmental sustainability, and public health issues, as well as the knowledge of environmental engineering law. So when you want to follow environmental engineering, that means you have to learn about wastewater management, air pollution control method, solid waste management. Then there are radiation protection methods. So in our module, you will not in this module you never learn about radiation protection method. Then industrial hygiene. So that's why there is a section called occupational safety and health, and you should know the environmental engineering law. Okay, so I hope now you know about National Environmental Act. So it is very important. So if you have to be a good environmentalist, or if you want to know the environmental technology or whatever environmental engineering, you should have a good knowledge on environmental laws. It also includes studies on the environmental impact of proposed construction projects. So in environmental engineering, environmental engineer should be able to do EIA, environmental impacts. EIA, environmental impact assessment. Environment impact assessment. That means when we start some projects, when we start some industries, or industries maybe whatever process industries, or the rubber industries related to rubber sector, or it may be a highway or railway, airport. So when we start a new project, then an environmental engineer should be able to do a EIA, Environment Impact Assessment, before it is started, then he should be able to analyze the situation. What happened if this project is started? What happened to the environment? What are the bad defects? What are the good defects? And what are the solution for the bad defects? Likewise, the environmental engineer should be able to do a EIA. Okay, so what is this? So now you already familiar with this diagram. So this is a process industry, or we can say whatever the production process is occur. It may be a tire manufacturing plant, or latex processing plant, or glove manufacturing plant, or plastic processing factory, or whatever factory. So we need raw material, energy, water, labor, and capital, and there are products and byproducts. Then waste is emitted as air and discharged as wastewater, and energy is also emitted as heat or noise, and there should be solid waste. So this is the diagram. This is the diagram of a conventional factory. Conventional factory. Sampradayika factory diagram. So this is the diagram of the conventional factory. So let's see the diagram of a process flow diagram of a modern plant. Modern plant. So you can consider this is whatever process. It may be a rubber related process. Okay, then we need raw material for the production process. We need energy. So what are the energy may be in electricity, or maybe in fuel wood. Then what are the forms of fuel wood? The fuel wood may be dara. Then their energy may be in fuel wood. There may be biomass. What are the biomasses? The biomasses are fuel wood, dara. Then biomass, there are some biomass. So in our country also some biomass are used as the fuel wood. Some people use rice husk, paddy husk, the dahaya, as a fuel. Then sawdust as a fuel to run the boilers. You may have seen them. Okay. Then what else? Okay. Then energy may be in wind energy, wind power, hydropower. Okay. So the energy is taken. Then for whatever production process, we need utilities. What are the utilities? So what are the utilities? So some production processes we have to use steam. So steam is a utility. So we cannot say it is a raw material. Sometimes steam may be used for the heating. Okay, for some processes, to washing, to heating, to some cases we have to use steam. Then hot water, cold water, then compressed air, then lubricating oil, lubricants for the machines. Okay? So those are the utilities. Then products are produced, and also there are byproducts, and there are waste. So waste can be gaseous waste, liquid waste, and solid waste. So waste is discharged into the environment. The waste is emitted into the environment. Air is emitted into the environment. And wastewater is discharged into the environment if they are not toxic to the environment. But if the waste is toxic to the environment, before that, part of the waste can be discharged as a part of the waste can be bypassed, not discharged, can be bypassed as a raw material or energy. Okay, so as example, I would like to say in furniture manufacturing industry, do you know the rubber wood is taken? Rubber wood is taken. So those in rubber wood, the processing plants, they will treat the rubber wood using some chemicals. The rubber wood is subjected to some chemical treatment. For that chemical treatment, they need steam. So steam is produced by a boiler. So boiler has to be operated by using a fuel. For that fuel, they use sawdust and the offcuts of the furniture factory. So wood, offcut, and the sawdust are used as the fuel for operating the boiler. So that means they are the waste, that solid waste is recycled as a energy source. And in some people, they use their raw material uh, waste as a raw material. So the simple example is that sawdust can be taken as a raw material to produce mushroom, hatuaman. So then it is a byproduct. Okay, so so those are some simple examples. So when you think, you can take a lot of examples. So in parboiling rice industry, you know, paddy, rice husk, dahaya is uh, taken as a fuel for fuel to run the boiler, because in parboiling industry, parboiling rice industry, the rice paddy has to be boiled by using hot water or steam. It depends on the type of the process. To make the hot water or the steam, they have to run a boiler. The boiler is run by the fuel fuel which is the fuel which is the rice husk. Then if the waste is toxic, they cannot be discharged into the environment. So if the waste is toxic, the waste has to be treated and waste has to be neutralized. It has to be detoxified. The toxicity has to be reduced. After that, it can be discharged into the environment. It can be so after treating the waste, after reducing the toxicity, after diluting the waste, they can be discharged into the environment. And also some part of the treated waste again can be recycled, to the raw material as a raw material or energy. So these are called as recycling. They can be recycled. So these lines are called as recycling. So so my dear students, so in this lecture I am not going to ask anything from this lecture, but you should have a proper understanding what you are going to learn in environmental technology module. So you do not want to remember, or you do not want to cramp anything in this lecture. That means you do not have to remember anything related to environment. But so you do not want to remember these slides like environmental engineering, technology, science. Okay, no need to cramp. කටපාඩම් කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. So in next lecture, you will learn about some important terms related to environmental technology and the ecology. I think now you get a proper idea about environmental technology. So better before I stop the lecture, I will show that diagram again. So in environmental technology, what you will learn in environmental technology module, you will learn about this part. Remember, you will learn about this part. In water and wastewater treatment, you will learn about how water is treated, how wastewater is treated, and you will learn how to manage solid waste, how to control air pollution. Okay, but in air pollution control section, you will learn about the basics of air pollution control in the semester 4 you will learn some deep concepts. So in this module or in environmental technology modules, you learn about these things. So if you follow a unit operation subject, then you will learn about processes. You will learn about processes. That means there are many unit operations. So we can say you learn about there are many unit processes. Okay, you will learn about unit processes consist of several operations such as unit operations. So and some reactions. So that's why in the especially the chemical students, you have a subject called unit operations. So under that you learn about unit operation and also about heat transfer in the heat and mass transfer subject. And for the polymer students, also there is a separate section under this module called unit operation. That's why in that section you learn about sedimentation, filtration, adsorption and absorption. You learn the science. You learn the science behind the environmental technology. So what are the things that we have to apply to mitigate the environmental problem, to control the environmental problems. Then for the polymer students, again you will have a separate module in semester 4. So in that module you learn about some unit operations and about utilities, and then you will learn about energy balance, about mass balance and energy balance. So for the chemical students, you will learn mass balance and energy balance, because for the whole process you should to operate to run a whole process, you should know how to do an energy balance, you should know how to do a mass balance to identify the requirement of mass, material and the energy. So you learn about those things. So in environmental technology module you learn about this section, treatment section. So I hope now you have a proper understanding that about what you are going to learn in this module.